like to call to order the meeting of the Fall River Licensing Board. Today is Wednesday, November 18th, and for the record, all members of the board are present. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. First item on the agenda, we will be taking something out of order as soon as one of the parties gets here, but we're going to start with one-day permit, PAL 31 Franklin Street, Charles Cullen. Just have a seat right here, please. Could you state your name and address for the record?
Deputy Police Chief Charles Cullen, Police Athletic League of Fall River, 31 Franklin Street, Fall River, Mass. I'm the president.
And could you tell us what you're looking for?
3 one-day all beverage permits for the Southern New England Golden Gloves, January 2016, which will be on Saturday nights. And we requested one day be classified as snow day in case one gets canceled in between.
So that would be Saturday, January 16th, 2016, the 23rd, and the 30th, and the possible snow date would be February 6th.
Yes, sir.
From 6 to 10 p.m. This is an annual event,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's all alcoholic beverage, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any questions from the members of the board?
No questions.
Okay. Is there anyone else here in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant the 3-day permits for January 16th, January 23rd, January 30th, and rain day or snow day for February 6th.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there's a motion made and seconded. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Amusement Machine, Store 40, 1708 South Main Street, Sumil Lucas. Okay. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, Sunil Lucas, 8 Nasney Circle, Hoppington, Mass. And I have a store here, 1708 South Main Street, Fall River.
Where is that?
Fall River,
I know forever, but where on South Main Street?
1708. It's the old Shell gas station where the canopy fell down.
Across from
Oh,
Andrews.
okay.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Across from
We're just
Andrews.
talking about
Yeah.
that.
Used to be Crossings.
Yeah, it used to be the
Okay.
crossing, yeah.
Okay, so you're looking for one of the Nudge Master machines?
One, actually, 2 of the nut master machine.
Two?
2.
Okay, your application says one.
One,
Did you get
okay.
two?
I guess
No.
I didn't review, but he did give me the numbers.
All right, can you please initial this?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Two, okay, two machines. And Carrie just told me she has the numbers for the machines already.
Okay.
Okay?
Where are they going to be located in there?
It's going to be on the, we have an ATM machine right now.
Down to
Right,
the left there where the newspapers are?
we have a coffee counter, and
Okay.
you keep going straight. There's coolers there, right next to the coolers.
Perfect.
Okay, any other questions?
No question.
Is there anyone else here in favor? Is there anyone opposed?
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2 amusement machines.
And I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you
you.
for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you. Vicky Doyle's Sports Pub, 380 Rhode Island Avenue, Michael Doyle.
Hi, how's everyone
State
doing?
your name for the record, please.
Sure. Michael Doyle, address 125 Spencer Street, Fall River, Mass.
Okay, what are you looking for tonight, Mike?
2 of the exact same machines, the Grudge Master.
Okay?
And I believe I applied for 2, I think.
You did, yes. it's
Excellent.
still on here. And Carrie, again, said she does have the information that we need. Where are you going to have those?
Right on the side of our jukebox, where we've got like some seating and some benching
Okay?
toward the
Okay.
front.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No questions.
Is there anyone else here in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant the to Nudge Master Machines.
I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice Thanksgiving.
You too, thank you. Class 2, Redden Inc. has been tabled to the request of the applicant.
Make a motion that we table.
I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to table. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aberdeen Realty, 163, 165 Aberdeen Street, Timothy Cabral. Could you state your name and address for the records, please?
Timothy Cabral, 163, 165 Aberdeen Street, Aberdeen Realty.
Okay.
Thomas Cabral, 163, 165 Aberdeen Street, Fall River.
And this is a Class 2 license.
Yes.
There was previously a license there, correct?
Yes.
And how many cars is that for?
We put 3 to 5.
3 to 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want it in the, what name do you want this license in?
We're going to leave it under Aberdeen Realty.
Aberdeen Realty?
Yep.
So if you have a business name that you're gonna use, so
Yeah,
you
well,
file a DBA?
Yeah, her license is expiring, so we're trying to just transfer it over
makes
right
sense.
now.
And we have a police report, and it's been approved. There's no objection from the police. What are you planning on the hours of operation?
8 to 5.
8 to 5?
Something like that.
Monday through Saturday?
Monday through, yeah.
Monday through Saturday.
Monday to Saturday? Okay. No inspection, because there was a license there.
Okay. And we're not doing any auto repairs or anything there?
not yet.
Not yet.
Okay,
That's the
all right.
next license.
Cross that bridge when you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the city council.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions from the members of the board?
No questions.
Is there anyone here in favor? Is there anyone opposed?
I'll make a motion that we grant the Class 2 license.
And I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Let us know if you need anything.
All right, thanks.
T&C Auto Sales, Inc., Annex, 855 Market Street. Christine Maloof, Elkhorn.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, member commissioners. My name is David Assad. I'm an attorney licensed to practice in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I maintain offices at 326 Pine Street in the city of Fall River, and I'm here this evening on behalf of T&C Auto Sales, Inc. The application is for an annex on Pleasant Street. They have a lease agreement with the owner of the property, and their request is to have an annex from their 855 Warren Street location at 1112 Pleasant Street. And the request is for 50 motor vehicles.
Your application says it's on Warren Street.
No, that's where the principal office of T&C Auto Sales is.
Okay.
But the location is 1112 Pleasant Street.
Okay.
If there's an error there, then I'll be happy
Yeah.
to amend it.
I think it's a little bit confusing. I think it should be in number 7.
That's the description.
Wow.
You should have the premises, but that should state.
Business address of concern.
Should be the new proposed information.
Yeah. Where is that on?
All right, let me show, it's kind of confusing. It's part of one of the old it's a combination of the Colville properties. It's east of the U-Haul,
Okay.
and it's in between, I'm trying to think, Abdullah's Hot Dogs.
That old file in there is too.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. So if I show you the assessors map, this is the lot, is Pleasant Street. It's part of.
Is this the Magic Mushroom?
Yes.
So you go into the back.
You go in, there's a there is, the way the lease was written, there is a building that currently exists that isn't being used. The plan, the lease references a plan. I have the drawn stamped plans if you want to see it. But here's the frontage on Pleasant Street. It's all of this land. The building is not being used, but they're going to show the cars in front and on the sides, which is where they're going to store them. But the property address, the property itself is made up of this piece and part of K1363.
The only thing
that
I think this is,
Admin?
I think this could be changed.
Am I too far up?
No, you're too far up. It's
far
down,
up.
it's heading down more to,
Okay. Near the fire station?
yes.
Just
Okay.
before the fire.
Just before.
A block
All right.
before, Terry.
Okay.
And I just think, Attorney Assad, if you can, with Carrie, you can change this so that the address appears here. I think it should be on the front of this somehow,
Okay,
okay?
I can do that.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I, after the meeting, or?
And 50 cars, you can do it after the meeting.
Okay.
Come into the office. Whatever you have to do. That certainly is a big enough piece to support 50 cars. Is there an office on that?
There is an existing structure, but the structure, it's a garage. It's not being used. That's not part of anything that they're using. So it's just going to be for the storage, for the display of cars. That's it.
So no business will be transacted right there?
No, everything will be
So
going
you don't
back
need the
towards.
bathroom or any of
No,
those
that was why it
requirements?
was strictly the annex. It was
Annex
just,
to the other.
correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's, what's 11, what's the address?
1112.
1112. Okay.
If
Straight.
Miss A, if you want a copy of the lease, I'll give you a
Yeah,
copy
if you
of the
could
lease.
give it to her, that way it'll be in there, so we'll know.
So you're gonna put some security over there, I take it? Some cameras or something? Just for storage. Not that there's anything wrong with the
Any other questions?
No questions. Inspection needed?
Is anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant the Class 2 license.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Madam Commissioners. Miss Ash, I'll come and see you.
Stick that in there.
Change of hours, the Liberal Club, 20 Star Street. Good evening.
Kevin Palmer, 1235 President Avenue, Fall River, Mass.
Okay. And this is a request to extend the hours of operation on Thursday, December 31st, from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. for the New Year's Eve party. It was voted by the board. Everything else is good. I think you're the only person that's requested that. It's a good thing.
Follow the rules.
So far, yeah.
So
Probably
far.
next meeting we'll have this deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
No questions.
Ever had any problems?
No.
All right, is there anyone else here in favor? Is there anyone opposed?
I'll make a motion that we grant the change of hours for December 31st from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
And I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, we're going to skip to 7A. South Main Equity Corp., 277 South Main Street, Sherman, J.B. Yee. For the record, I will abstain from that hearing.
Good evening, members of the board. For purposes of the record, my name is Peter Solino. I'm an attorney with law offices at 550 Locust Street in Fall River. Here with me is my client Sherman Yee, who is the proposed transferee. The petition before you tonight relates to 227 South Main in Fall River, which is currently the Tonic Lounge.
Peter, I think it's 277.
270, I apologize,
We made that
270.
correction already.
So it's the Tonic Lounge. The sellers are here tonight. The buyer and ultimate transferee is Mr. Yee. Mr. Yee has been in the restaurant business for how many years?
Over 25 years.
25 years, okay. And so we're seeking there's no change of location, it's just a transfer. he plans to operate the business. There's going to be some financing involved. We've submitted the financing documents, and I also, Carrie, have a letter of explanation on that. So we have some financing documents. The financing and the closing is contingent upon the transfer of the license. Mr. Yi is seeking hours of operation of 11 to 11, 7 days, if that works for the board. And he's really focusing on a restaurant-type establishment more than a bar and lounge type establishment.
Any sort of entertainment at all? No, so just...
No, maybe occasionally there are some musician want to like soft entertainment, basically. Yeah.
And any major changes if the license is approved, or is this going to be cosmetic?
To the building.
Cosmetic.
Cosmetic.
Possibly get fix up the facade a little bit better.
Okay. So if the license is approved, you could get in maybe just a layout, floor layout?
Yes,
changes
sure.
we need. Any pledge of the license at all for this financing?
Yes.
There will be, okay.
Yes, and the agreements in the
Perfect.
filing.
When are you hoping to open for?
We're hoping for the holiday season because a lot of people wants to have family gathering there.
And I think we have a police report. Everything's fine there. They did approve it. And you do have everything in the file. Are there any questions?
I don't know if I missed, is this going to be 7 days a week?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. I do have a plan here if you want to take a look.
Yeah, I have a pretty big floor plan.
Perfect. We'll look at that. We'll keep it in the file. I don't have any questions. Do you, Commissioner?
No, I have no questions. Everything is in order.
Yes. We have everything we need. The
report's
peace
good.
report's fine. Is there anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we grant the transfer of license.
And I'll second that motion. There's been a motion made and second. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck. Let
Thank
us
you
know
for
if
the
you need
opportunity.
anything,
We
okay?
want to bring back the old world Chinese style establishment back in the neighborhood, bring some positive energy into the area.
Great. Anything that we can do, just let us know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, common victular licenses. Aladdin's Pizza and Mediterranean Food, 4171 South Main Street, Basher, Khalil. Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
It's the name Aladdin Pizza and Mediterranean Food, 4171 North Main Street.
Okay, and your name?
My name is Mansoor Kazman. My cousin from Bashir Khalil. He's a vice president, and I'm the second one in the business.
You're the second one in the business?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is in Shaw's Plaza, correct?
Yeah, in Short Plaza.
And tell us exactly what you're looking for.
I'm looking the same business, the same we're doing in the old one. I'm taking over the same everything.
So you're just taking over a current
Yeah,
establishment
the
there?
same, everything the same.
Are you planning on making any changes, cosmetic changes? Are you gonna paint?
No, just a Sunday with, I think it's in the same application, open from 4 to 10, have day only on Sunday.
Sunday from 4 to 10?
Yeah,
That would be the only change.
So that's the only change,
yes, all the time.
okay? And we have a police report and it's favorable.
Yeah.
Where is Mr. Khalil now?
Khalil,
Yeah.
yeah, he has appointment and I came from, because I have, we do some paperwork.
Yeah, no, the question was, where is he now? Is he in the area?
Why, how
Yeah,
come
it's
he's
in
not
here.
here tonight? I'm asking, 'cause
Yeah,
he's the
it's-
applicant.
Yeah, it's in here, but it's not in this forever. He's out to do some appointment with his son in the hospital.
His son's in the hospital, so
Yeah.
he's at the son's.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any questions?
No questions.
Is there anyone else here in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we grant the common victualer's license.
And I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So you need to come in and pick up the license tomorrow, okay?
Tomorrow?
Or the day after, just to make sure somebody comes in, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Golden Star, 639 Bedford Street, Anglin.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Hani. Address 639 Bedford Street, Golden Star.
Okay. And you're looking to open up? That's there, right? So it's just a transfer of the license from the
Yes.
existing business to yours? Okay. And we have the police report, and that's fine too. Are you planning any changes?
No.
No? Same hours,
Yeah,
everything?
same hours.
No changes to the building?
Yeah, same.
What, please?
We change the time, 11 to 10.
Oh, 11 to 10.
Yeah, 11
It's
to
going to
10.
be
yeah.
every day, 7
no,
days?
Fridays, 11 to 11. Friday and Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, 11 to 11, the rest of the days, 11 to 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, that's
No?
it.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Any other questions?
No questions from the board.
Okay. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant the common victualer's license.
And I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us know
Have
if
a
you
good
need
night.
anything.
Thank you. Good night.
Aye. 6th Street Cafe, 46th Street, Lynn Mitchell.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
David Mitchell, 14E Village Way, Norton, Mass.
Okay. So, is this just a transfer as well?
Yes, we're purchasing 6th Street Cafe.
Okay. What are you planning? Are you, any interior changes?
Just add a little technology, some better Wi-Fi, TV for the news in the morning, and probably a TV for a menu board.
Okay, but no structural changes?
No structural,
Or any of that
no.
kind of thing? And your hours of operation?
Going to attempt 7 to 9. I think the application said 7 days a week, but it's going to be Monday through Saturday. Seeing the neighborhood over the last few weekends, I'm not sure it would warrant operation too much on the weekends.
And you actually want this in the name of the corporation, correct?
It's Davlin Enterprises, DBA,
And
6th
you're
Street.
the president and treasurer?
Correct.
Okay. And the police report just for the record, was done on Lynn, and she's an officer of the corporation too, as well, and it's fine. So, have you bought that business yet? or
We
you-
have.
So you've already purchased, how about your lease, do you have a lease?
There's no current lease in place as a tenant at will
You're a tenant at
currently.
will.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right, any questions?
No questions.
Is there anyone else here in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant the common victualer's license.
And I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to grant. Is there anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Great, thank you.
Okay. New license, Bethany's Event Center, 1193 Pleasant Street, Bethany Shaker.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Madam Clerk. For the record, my name is Arthur Frank. I'm a lawyer with an address of 209 Bedford Street, Fall River, Massachusetts, and I represent Jake's New Time Saloon, Inc., Bethany Shaker being the sole officer, director, and shareholder of that corporation. Board may recall that she was previously given a common vittler's license in 2014, and she's been operating with limited menu and having mostly events there, baby showers, wedding showers, Sweet 16 parties, basically very, very limited in the scope of what she's doing there. She was running between maybe 4 and 5 events per month, and she now comes before you asking for a liquor license so she can expand her business. She's going to eliminate the teen parties. She does want to run, besides the functions, the monthly functions, a restaurant. She intends to have 10 employees, all serve safe and tips certified. If this board felt it was necessary to have details, we would agree to that condition. She also plans on using metal detectors if the board wants to see metal detectors used. The alcohol serving would be at the restaurant 7 days from 11 to 11. If there is a function, she would like to have the ability to serve alcohol until 1 a.m. And she also is agreeable, if this board wants to closely monitor this new business or this new facet of her business, she would agree to a probationary period to be set by this board, to be reviewed when this board felt it was necessary. I do have, for the record, a petition in support of her license, Mr. Chairman, and a separate letter from an abutter or somebody on that street who supports her request. If you have any technical questions regarding the operation of her business, Ms. Shaker is here to try to answer them. Mr. Chairman, I'm also going to hand you the certificate from the Secretary of State as far as who the officers of record are.
As far as with this first, who are the stockholders?
You the sole shareholder?
Yeah.
You're the sole,
Yes.
so the
Well, she-
entire thing is in your,
She took an empty corporation rather than have to pay a new fee, and she just took over the old
Everything.
corporation. She saved some money. Perhaps the board may want to see a different name on the corporation. If that's the
No,
case,
I was just
we could
curious
change
if
the
there
name.
is anyone else involved?
No.
No, it's all your name completely?
Yes.
Okay. How about the real estate itself? Who owns the real estate?
The owner of the real estate is sitting right behind me.
Jeffrey?
Jeffrey is here. We've entered into a lease. I believe we submitted it with our application.
Okay. I remember when we went to do site visit there, it's a pretty big establishment. So if you were to get the license to open a restaurant, that operated normal working hours, would the entire restaurant be used or just a portion of it?
I don't know if you remember when you were there, but it's, the dance floor area that was the dance floor area, and that side,
Kind of to the right side?
Correct.
yes,
Yeah, I remember.
that area.
When we walked in,
where the ki-
walked in, there was the bar.
No, the other side.
The other side.
Because the kitchen is over there.
Yeah, right, the kitchen was on the other side.
So that right side would be more for the alcohol side of it, per se?
Yes.
Okay,
And then like the functions, I would open it up.
okay.
But it would not always be open
The
that
whole
way.
thing, right? Do you have, can you tell us, do you have any functions scheduled now going forward?
Going forward, I
Coming
have,
months?
I have one coming up, I didn't bring the sheet, I believe December 2nd, I believe. It's December 3rd.
She's also told me this, and I'll offer it to the board, Mr. Chairman, for what it's worth. She's also agreeable to letting neighborhood groups use her facility at no expense if they need a big enough place to meet.
No one, we have an entertainment license now. Okay. Right? Just for, not live not live bands? Do we have live bands license?
I don't know, I know she has a handful of my total.
So we wouldn't be looking to do anything like that, though, right? So let's say,
You talking about entertainment licenses,
Yeah.
Mr. Santos? What do you have
I
already?
already have an entertainment license. I would be just using it for like the functions.
okay. And I guess I was getting at, on a Friday night from 11 to 1, if you're approved, we're not gonna jam a band in there and charge a couple.
The 1 a.m. serving deadline would only be for the functions.
Functions only, okay.
She wants to close, the restaurant closes to the public at 11.
Okay.
I think as everyone knows, there has been quite a file on this in the past. And with respect to this particular application, the police chief has suggested that the license be denied. That is a recommendation from the police chief. We are not bound to follow it. We obviously give it credence. One of the concerns of the chief was that at the time the last issues arose there, that you were the bar manager. However, you were found not guilty of all the charges against you. So that obviously, to me, although it's pointing it out, it speaks in your favor that you were not convicted of anything. We had concerns in the past about who was involved in the operation, and that's why I was asking that if it's your business, and with no disrespect to your family whatsoever, as long as other people are not involved, that gives us a little more of a comfort level. And we have to believe that that's the way. So can you tell this board that no one else will be operating that business on a day-to-day basis?
Just myself.
Just you?
Yes.
And her staff, and
And
I
my
don't believe
staff.
her
Right,
staff,
but
I don't believe
no,
there's any
no.
family
That
members.
There's not going to be any family members
No.
on the staff that are going to be in there taking over
No.
when you're not there. And if you're asking to be the manager, I know at one point you had another job. Do you still have that other job? Or
No.
would this be your?
This would be- I would be there.
your job? So
Yes.
you would be on the premises?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and when you say with a restaurant, what type of restaurant would you be?
I want to, what would I serve?
Yes.
We're going to do rotisserie chicken, kibbe sandwiches, stuff like that.
Lebanese, some
Yes,
Lebanese food.
Middle Eastern, yes.
Okay,
And then we'll have daily specials.
okay. And you're figuring to open at lunchtime?
Yes.
Seven days a week?
I
It's a lot.
I was thinking that, but I'm gonna start off with that,
All right,
and then
and
I
I was
can.
gonna say, Bethany,
That's
if
what
this
if
were to be approved, you can always come back and say, you know what, it is too much.
Too
I just
much.
want to be open Tuesday to Sunday.
Okay,
or
good.
Tuesday to Saturday,
Okay.
or whatever the case may be. But you want to have the ability that if it's approved, to keep what you have as far as the event center, regardless of what happens with this part of it,
yes.
correct? And not change any of that.
I'm sorry. Could you say it one more time?
You want to keep the current license you have for the event center, even if this were to
Your
be
Villain's
allowed.
license.
Yes.
You want to keep that in
Yes.
place?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any other questions from the members of the board?
I've got one more answer.
Just
And
some
Attorney
cosmetic-
Frank, I'm sorry, did it submit a petition that's signed? A lot of addresses, Pleasant Street, Harrison Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the petition, and then there's the letter that was supplied in support is her immediate abutter at 1219 Pleasant Street, Thomas Sullivan, Forever Laundry Company, saying that he's had no problems at all, that they share a parking area, and that he considers her a very good neighbor, and that he has no issues with the application. So that's available if anyone wants to look at it. I'm sorry, Eric.
I was gonna say, any just cosmetic stuff if you can
Yes.
get up and running.
I think it's minor, if anything, Mr.
I think when
Santos.
we were in there last, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was, this is, it was a turnkey, I think, when she went in with her common vittler's license.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Anything else from the board?
I'm good.
Right. Is there anyone else here in favor of this petition? Okay, could you state your name and address, please?
Jeff Shaker, 3 Carrywood Lane, Somerset, Mass.
Do you want to say anything, or you just want to say that you're in favor?
No, I am in favor. I just, I would like, to be honest, with you, I don't know if running a neighborhood bar and restaurant is a fun thing. It's something that Bethany wants to do, but I think she should, be given the opportunity. I kind of feel, looking and hearing what's happening with the Flint Neighborhood Association, more the Flint merchants, it seems like they are more against her because of maybe what happened there in the past, and I don't think that's fair. They constantly seem to want to place us in the position of running a bar. That's the farthest thing that I want to do at this point in my life. And I'd like to see that, Bethany get an opportunity. It's what she wants to do. I think that the neighborhood could use something. There is zero going on in that neighborhood now. I mean, nobody here, probably nobody around here knows that neighborhood better than I do. The neighborhood is much tougher now than when we were there. And it's not, so it's tougher, not because of what we did, it's because it's just getting that way. And I think that the amount of vacant properties there don't add to that. I think that in more people that want to come up to the Flint and maybe open up businesses, there's the same distance from Eastern Avenue to City Hall as it is from City Hall to Globe Four Corners. There's 30-plus vacant stores on Pleasant Street as we speak. There's 3 on-premises licenses. There's almost no vacant stores, or very few in this stretch. There's 12 on-premise licenses. So I think the fact that there's nothing up there kind of keeps the neighborhood, and I have a personal stake in the neighborhood. We own a good amount of property there. I pay in excess of $20,000 a year in property taxes, and it's hard for me to constantly get people. They say, "Well, I have apartments there." It's like, well, I really don't want to go to the Flint, and I think that's because it is getting more downtrodden, and people need to want to invest in it. Even Commissioner Santos said when the gentleman was on Pleasant Street, and tongue in cheek, but you should have some type of security there, and that's just what people feel about it, and I don't think that's fair.
Let me ask you this, just for a clarification. So you're not looking for an alcohol license to have a bar. It's only to have alcohol with meals.
That's right.
Yes.
So that bar that's there will not be used that someone can just walk in there and have a drink. You're not going to serve them just to drink. They have to order food.
Yes.
That's your intention. And,
yes.
And if we were to go ahead with this and we made that a condition, you would have no problem with that?
I would have no problem with that.
Okay.
Well,
could she serve the meals at the bar? I guess?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine,
Yeah.
but if I'm walking by there, I can't just stop in and have a beer and leave. If I'm gonna have a drink, or if I'm gonna have dinner, I could sit at the bar and have a cocktail, and then sit down and have my meal, but you're not gonna have people hanging at your bar for 3 or 4 hours at a time and just drinking.
I want to be more like something like Chili's and 99 has it. So if they do, my main focus is for somebody to come in and eat at my restaurant and have, a drink. But I don't understand how they can't come in and just, I have to tell them to go if they don't.
No, that's what I'm trying to find out, what your intention is.
I don't want to have to turn anyone away.
So you wanna keep it so that if someone, but what I'm saying is, are you intending to get it to be like a neighborhood bar like it was before?
No, I want it to be like a 99's, a Chili's, something on that
Or
idea.
of a food establishment?
Yes, but
But the liquor's available?
yes, but I don't want to feel like I have to turn I want to be honest with you. I don't want to feel like I have to turn someone away if they come in for one beer. But I'm not just going to have people sitting there, I don't want to be a neighborhood, not a neighborhood bar.
I know a lot of the restaurants, and I'll pick one in my adopted hometown, Somerset. Mar-Raffas has a policy as far as how many drinks you can be served
Right, correct.
at the bar.
That's what I'm getting at.
And that may be the way to go, to have a policy. And once people know that there's a policy, then they're not going to become bar flies.
Right.
They're going to come in and maybe have a drink or something to eat at the bar, but know that it's not going to
Or
be
if
a
you do
traditional.
take- I've done it myself before, I could do this. where I go into my office, and if I'm getting takeout, I might have a drink while I'm waiting for my food to be ready. I understand that, but what I'm saying is, so it's not that I'm gonna say to Eric, hey, meet me at Bethany's, and we'll sit there for 4 hours and drink.
I don't want that. No, I don't.
And once again, that would close down at 11 o'clock, with the exception if there was a function.
Yes.
Right,
Right.
okay. All right. Anything else?
No.
You all set?
No, that's fine. I would, I'd like to, again, I've never heard of that stipulation being put on a liquor establishment, that, like, you can go to
I
a
don't
Gills
think,
and
I don't
get a
think we,
sandwich.
since I've been on this board, I don't think we've ever been presented with a situation where someone who lost a license has had a member of the same family come back and ask for a
And
license.
let me ask a question.
And I'll be honest with you, we did a lot of research because at least 2 of the commissioners remember that there was a question that some of the neighbors wanted it so that there could never be a liquor license in that building, but there is nothing documented to say that that was the vote of this board.
No, I'm sure that
So we're
happens.
being very cautious at Bethany's, to protect her as well, but also to be true to what we as a board did with the previous establishment. So, what happens is if we feel it's correct and we issue a license, we have the right to put whatever stipulations we want. And if you don't think it's warranted, you have the right to appeal our decision, and then the ABCC will decide. And I can tell you, the record of the ABCC was not good.
No.
So I think that's enough said about that issue.
I think that's why we had suggested, Mr. Chairman, that you want to put us on a probationary period.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And I
That's
appreciate
fine.
that offer.
Yeah.
I think that was honorable for you to do that. I think you definitely, moving forward with that stuff, I think, in time, things change, we understand that, but we gotta make sure it's the right thing at the right time. Okay, anyone else in favor? You wanna state your name for me, please?
Michelle Pelletier,
Michelle Pelletier. And your address?
105 Thomas Street.
Okay. Do you wanna say something, or just be noted that you're in favor? Okay.
Also in favor, Ryan Shaker.
Ryan Shaker. Your address?
Building G702, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Okay. Want to say anything, or just be noted? Just. Okay. People in the back there?
My name is Valerie Silva. My address is 8 Oswell Street, but I'm the manager of the laundromat on Pleasant Street.
On Pleasant, Valerie Silva, you said, right?
Silva, S-I-L-V-A.
Do you want to say anything else, or just that you're in favor?
I just want to say that I'm in favor, and I've been running that business for a little over 7 years. And the event center brought like a lot of positive stuff with the kids in the neighborhood there. And Bethany is always, making sure people ain't loitering. She's always cleaning up the neighborhood, the parking lot, the area.
Okay. Thank you. Sir?
My name is Frank Oaks.
Frank, I'm sorry, your last name?
H-O-O-K-S.
Okay. And your address?
It's 774 King Philip.
Okay. Anything in particular, or just?
Oh, I frequent the neighborhood. I'm a hard worker. I've been in Fall River now for a little over a year. And just to see a new establishment come up would be, I think it would be very good for the Flint area too, and with all the other things around it. There is some positive, and I think this would be a very good asset.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone opposed? State your name and address for the record, please.
Carl Caesar, 112 Flint Street, Fall River, Mass. 02723.
Pine? Would you say 112 Pine?
112 Flint.
Flint. Okay.
I'm also the president from the Neighborhood Association and vice president from the Merchants Association. I got approached right after last time that the license was denied by Mrs. Bethany, and we had a conversation, and she approached me for support. I hope she remembers the conversation we had. And I told her, I want business on Pleasant Street. And matter of fact, I give her an idea. I said, I would love if you turn that place into a breakfast restaurant, because we need more restaurants on Pleasant Street. And I told her, let's start from scratch. Give a new life to that location. Let's welcome new people into that location. That new people that's gonna come for your breakfast, gonna start asking you to open for lunch. And I will be with you in front of the board and supporting you for a NY license. Because now you've got a different clientele coming into that place. And they are the ones gonna ask you to have beer with their meals, to have a glass of wine with their meals. And I have no problem to come and support you for that. The problem I have now, foreign to now, is anybody, again, that misses the Shakers is gonna come in again. That people is still around. That people is still around. And I know, and the problem I have now is the city don't have the manpower, our police department don't have the manpower to be called into that location. Again, I want to support business, but I want to support safety too. And I don't want to give more work to our police department. So with that being said, the way this request is being asked, I want to ask the board to deny it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm Natalie Mello from the Bank Street Neighborhood Association. I just want to speak on my behalf. I've talked to Kathy today and Natalie. I'm loyal to them. I know they work very hard. I know there's been a bad taste in that section. People still have that bad taste in what occurred in that section. So are we afraid that's going to continue? We are. I don't know where to go with this. I kind of agree with him because, and the chief of police, the world is different. The city is different. And he's right. We don't have enough of police manpower. 210 police officers is just not enough. Do I feel bad for Brittany? I absolutely do feel bad for her. But it's scary for some of us. I apologize, but that's how I feel.
Thank you. You're certainly entitled to your opinion. That's fine. You had mentioned, Attorney Frank, about police details. When would you suggest that there be police details?
The functions?
For the functions, I always had a constable all the time there when I had functions.
Yeah, I don't think a policeman would be necessary for the regular dining, but obviously
For all functions.
for functions, we'll
Like
have.
the 1 a.m.
The 1 a.m.
Yeah.
When's the last time an alcoholic beverage was served at that establishment?
Almost 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Can I say
That would be-
something? Sure. The people talking, they seem to be talking to me and not about Bethany. And that's the reason why I'm here today. They're constantly, she's looking directly at me and saying, okay, she's paying for my sins. This gentleman here references the Shakers. The Shakers run a terrible place. The Shakers, this is not the Shakers. If her name was, what's your last name, sir?
Caesar.
If her last name is Caesar, she entitled to run a business and operate a family restaurant in the city. If it's Frank, if it's Esposito, is it because of me? Is it because of me and my brother? You say our place is a nefarious place. That's 6 years ago. That's something that we did. I want you to look at her and say, she's not worthy.
I had a conversation with Bethany, and I just mentioned. We had a conversation, and we agreed in one point. and I told her that I would be here and supporting her if we try
Support her
to
now.
look that run.
Support it now. What's
Not
wrong with
for
supporting
liquor.
someone that's
Doesn't make
young now?
sense to me, sir, coming for full liquor when you gonna have, you have a youth there. So it's either way, it's either the liquor's gonna be served to underage, or it's gonna be served to the same customers that's gonna come back again.
But I think you jumped into a few conclusions.
My customers.
Yeah,
are
okay, so
only-
let's bring it down. Let the board run the meeting now,
Yeah.
and we're gonna move along here.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to bring up one point for the record. She ran on some of her events, I
It was
believe, there were some
BYOB, some of
BYOB
them.
events, and there were never any problems.
I always had a constant.
We haven't
And we had a constant.
We haven't had an
one
issue
complaint.
since you've
That's
been
right.
open as the...
His events
Right,
center.
there hasn't been one complaint.
I don't buy the fact that the same customers are gonna go in there now, whether it's a convenience store, a restaurant, a pool hall that went in there 6 years ago. I don't think the Shakers have that much loyalty. So I don't think the board should use that as a reference to me. I think that's a far stretch, like the chairman said. That doesn't make sense to me.
You want to add something?
Yes, I was born and raised in Clinton, lived in it for 40 years. I'm very familiar with the establishment, I'm very familiar with Pleasant Street. Pleasant Street, I think right now is at its worst. Right now, I don't see how it got better because anything closed down, I think it needs a lot of help. And if she wants to open up a business and go with the proper way and be told how to and meet those qualifications, she should be able to. If there's going to be structure, why can't she follow and be given a chance? And like you say, give her a probation period, she comes back, she answers. It should be, it's a business. She wants to open up a profitable business.
I think everyone needs to keep in mind that, it's a speech, I haven't been here in 5 months, but now I'm back, I'll say my same speech. A license is a privilege. It's not a right, it's a privilege. So if you're given a license and you abuse that license, the license is taken away from you. So I think everyone always needs to keep that in mind, the licensee, because you have a monetary stake in it, obviously. If it's revoked, financially it hurts you. You know that.
Yes.
It's happened in your family. This board, I think Eric's been here long enough now too, with Terry and I, we've revoked, I think, the most licenses of any board in the history of the city. There's another one being surrendered tonight because of an issue that they knew they were about to lose the license. So the license is being shut down tonight. So we have a reputation of not tolerating problems. So if there is a problem, we will act on it. There's definitely not any timid part of any one of us that if something needs to be done, it will be done. But we also understand that you're right. Everyone has the right to try to make a living and do what they want to do, as long as it's reasonable. And I don't think that someone should be punished eternally because of the sins of their forefathers. It is what it is, and it's time, maybe it's time to move on. We haven't always followed the recommendations of the police, and fortunately, we have been right in every circumstance so far. So we will do what we believe is best as a board, but I think we've heard enough, and I think we've heard, everyone, you can't always, you're not guilty by association. And your association couldn't be any tighter because you're blood. But I think you've presented enough information to us. We've heard from what other people think. If the board is ready, if they have any more questions or any suggestions, we can discuss it. We can close the public hearing. And what that means is once we close the public hearing, there will be no further comment from anyone here on this subject.
I think the public needs to know that we've been working at something at this property address for going on 2 years now. So there's been a lot of back and forth. Today it seems like there are more people involved with the neighborhood association, whether it's in a positive light or a negative light. So at least there's been some progress made. Are we there yet? No, but we'll determine that tonight, I think.
And I think the public needs to know too that in our dealings with Bethany, she has been very cooperative with this board. She's welcomed us in there. She hasn't hidden anything from us. She's been very open with us. And I think her family understands, and I think her uncle is correct. This is Bethany's project. She makes it or fails on her own. So I give her credit for that because as everyone that's here probably knows, it was not a very nice situation when this all went down 6 or 7 years ago, whatever it was. And I've been here long enough that I was involved in all of it. How I didn't die then, I don't know, with the stress level over some of it, but I mean, I was constantly getting phone calls, police, this one, neighbors, it was at people coming to my office about it. And like Eric said, we haven't heard a word about it. So I think now it's time for the board, if we're ready, if there's anything else anyone wants to add, you have time to go
I
now.
know that they were opened,
Right.
so.
So, okay.
I'm willing to make a motion that we approve the license, but with some handful of conditions. And if you can agree to these, then I'll be for it. We'll be looking for details at all events outside of the restaurant, so that 11 to 11. We will approve the 11, I will support the 11 to 11 for restaurant only, and that 11 to 1 is purely for the event only. Detail will be required. This license will be valid through January 31st. We'll come back in front of the board on my,
Can't read the 31st because it's gonna be
90 days.
I would say, I would say you have to at
Do you
least
want to
90
go,
days.
say, a portion after the approval date?
Yeah, so many
Yes.
days after the approval.
Okay.
Let me, I'm sorry, can I stop you for 1
Sure.
second? If this gets approved, and it gets approved in Boston, when it goes to Boston,
Okay.
would you be ready to open right away, or are you gonna need time to prepare the restaurant to open?
I do. I need time for the restaurant area to set things up.
Okay, that
I
makes
do
sense.
need
Thanks for
time.
interrupting. So say it goes to Boston, you don't know how fast it's gonna come back, it's the end of the year.
Yeah,
Right, is
I'm
it a
gonna need
difficult
time.
So say that from the day of the approval, what if you went 4 months, that gives it 30 days to
get it in order.
to get it
And
in
90
order,
days.
and
Okay.
then 90 days to operate. Would that be agreeable?
So we'd be looking at a 120-day license. Okay.
After the approval.
After the approval. Also,
So we'd come back to the board at the end of 120 days, you would review. Okay, understand that?
in addition, if there's an incident, major incident, you have to come right in front of the board. So it happens in February, we're going to get you in that, essentially probably even call it a meeting to address it, because once again, we got to make sure that we're all on the same page here, and if there's an issue, we're going to stop it right there. Like the chairman said, we have full control of issuing and taking them back, and we've done that, that's for sure. As far as stipulations, I think that's it for me, and I would support that.
Just one point of clarification, Eric. When you say a detail, she's mentioned that she's had a constable, it's got to be a police.
I apologize, it would be a
right?
police officer.
Oh, okay.
I know it's going to be a little more expense, but here's the way I look at it. We all know our constables. The first person you're going to call is the Fall River Police Department, and we are short-staffed. I'd like to see you have someone there, so that way if there is an issue, and it's purely for the event, because you're going to go to 1 in the morning.
Okay.
Okay.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Say I have an event where I'm just using one room and there's only 30 people there, not 25, 30 people. I'm still going to need to have a detail?
If you're going to go to 1 in the morning, yes.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to have a shower on Sunday afternoon, we're not going to need a detail.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, it's the 1 a.m.
You know what I
One.
mean? So
Yeah.
think about
When you're going into the night.
Technically,
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
have to hire a detail for 4 hours, but essentially, you're probably only going to need them there from 11 to 1.
Yes, I got you.
You got me on that one?
Okay, yep.
Yeah, well, that was going to be something.
Maybe we
I
can
was
work
gonna
together,
ask.
too.
Would it be possible that you could, when you book something, like let Carrie know that in the month of January, you plan on having 3 events on these days?
Okay.
All right? And that's it. And this is during the probationary period.
Yeah.
Because later on, if it goes well and you keep the license, she doesn't have the time and you won't have the time to be sending that. But during the probationary period, we just
You can
ask
you can
to
monitor our
monitor it.
functions.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so,
Can I make one more suggestion? Can we potentially only let her pay for 120 days?
right, that was gonna be one of my
Correct.
questions,
Yes.
is that rather than having you pay for the license for the full year,
The renewal.
That it would be the 4 months. If it gets, if it gets approved in Boston and it comes back, when you pick that license up. Well, actually, I think what it would have to be, there has to be an inspection before it's actually issued.
right.
So if you pick it up on February 1st, you'll pay for 3 months from that, when you pick the license up, just the 3 months at that time. Okay?
And we want to be active with this. I mean, I think the quicker you can get to us with events, once again, if you have an event for 30 people on Sunday night from 10 to 11 or 8 to 11, maybe there isn't a necessity there, depending on what it is or where it's coming from. I mean, we don't want to, in my opinion, and the way I think, I'm not trying to add extra cost to you. The cop is a suggestion to hopefully bridge that gap. It might even help the neighborhood. We're going to have a cop right in front of that establishment. It's going to be outside. So maybe there won't be any problems on those 2 corners there where it's covered in problems now. So that might be something we can look at as everyone working together too.
Okay, so I'm going to try to recap this. There's a motion to grant for 120 days. That in the 120 days will run from the approval in Boston, okay? And in the 120 days, 90 days are operational, 30 days are for the applicant to make the premises ready to open. The hours of the restaurant will be 11 to 11. The event facility will be remain the way it is now, but whenever there's an event that will go till 1 o'clock, there will need to be a police detail. And I think you gotta be careful too, that you're not scheduling things till 12 or 12:30, so you avoid the 1 o'clock issue. Anything beyond 11 o'clock is gonna require, I think that's what we have to do.
Detail.
It's gonna require a detail, okay?
And that's the only thing that's going to be available at that time is alcohol.
Right.
Because we're shutting the restaurant down anyway.
At 11
So
anyway.
I think that justifies that.
Okay.
At this time, for the probationary period.
When the license, if it's approved and it's issued, you will only be required to pay a fee for one quarter of the annual fee. If there are any incidents reported to the board, you'll be summoned before the board. Even if we have to call a special meeting, I believe you only have to get 7 days' notice. So within 7 days, you'll be brought before the board with the possibility that it will be revoked at that hearing. Okay? And the other thing, we would have to approve Bethany as the manager. Correct. Okay?
I'll make a
Is that it?
motion that we approve Bethany as the manager also.
And I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion made.
And I'll second all those motions.
This motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
And the motion to approve Bethany is made and seconded.
I'll second that motion.
Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Good
Hey,
luck.
let's all work together to make this work, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You good? Make a motion that we adjourn?
No.
We have more to do.
Sorry.
Chairman, can I approach you?
Yes. No, I think that's good. So December 1st, bring that license. I'll Good. Yeah, we're also with that. Thank you. Okay, KSSM Market Inc., DBA Style Market, 317 Bank Street, Mohammed Malik.
Sorry, Attorney Assad, for shutting in.
It's all right, I wasn't going to leave.
Okay, what do we got?
We have Star Market on Bank Street being sold to the real estate and the business, the variety store business, and the alcohol and beer and wine license. So, for the record, my name is David Assett. I'm an attorney licensed to practice in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I maintain offices at 326 Pine Street in the city of Fall River, and I'm representing the proposed transferee, KSSM Inc. This corporation is made up of 4 individuals, one of whom, Mohammed Malik, is going to be the manager. The real estate is being sold. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. The real estate is being sold, and along with the real estate is the business that's being conducted there right now is Star Market Coffee Shop. Star Market Coffee Shop has a beer and wine license that is going to be transferred. The financing package for the acquisition of the real estate is really going to be secured by the real estate, but in the application, the question was monies coming in terms of the entire project, to which that the response was, yes, it was, and I made a disclosure as to who the lender was. To my knowledge, at this time, the license is not being pledged. It's going to be financed and paid for by the cash that's being brought to the table by the 4 shareholders. And other than that, nothing is going to change other than the ownership of the business. No renovations inside the business or inside the building. We'll have Eli Keaty leave on midnight, and we'll have Mohammed Abdelmalek walk in at 12:01 and take over.
Cool. So the only thing we don't have is the police report. Yeah, it's checked off, but it's not here. So, has he spoken to them, do you know?
They all contacted Detective Bouchard. My understanding as of this morning was they hadn't received return telephone calls or communication from him. But we did provide the Coreys, we did provide the personal information, and we await your pleasure.
Any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Is there anyone else here in favor? Is there anyone opposed?
I'll make a motion that we grant the transfer license pending a favorable police report.
And I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to grant, subject to the police report.
The only supplement, well, I'm waiting for Attorney Levin to get me the Department of Revenue certificate of good standing. We had applied for it. He had applied for it. It just hasn't been brought in yet.
Anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Then the appointment of the manager.
I'll make a motion that we grant the change of manager.
And I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to grant the change of manager. Anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, member commissioners. Thank you, Ms. Ash.
Okay. For the record, this is really on the agenda. And Natalie just came in, so the next old new business, there was a one-day permit for BCC that needs to be ratified.
I'll make a motion that we ratify the one-day permit.
And I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to grant. Anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
There's a motion, we need a motion to approve all the renewals that have been submitted to date. How are you doing with them? No?
Thanks for asking.
People probably don't have the money.
No. I'll make a motion to approve all the submitted 2016 renewals.
I'll second that motion.
It's a motion made and seconded to approve the renewals approved to date. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C is off the agenda, the minutes aren't ready.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other thing that we have is regarding JB Flair Inc. As you know, there were some issues there a few weeks ago, and we were prepared to send a letter for a show cause hearing for tonight. We had enough time to get them in tonight. And I contacted attorney Arthur Frank, who represents them, and Arthur was very cooperative and got back to me, and they've decided to close. So what they asked was that they be allowed to remain open until November 30th, the end of this month. And we agreed they'll have police details, and a license will be surrendered to the board on December 1st. And they asked that they be allowed to keep the license so that they can market it for sale. Apparently, the woman that owns the license and is the manager is not the person who operates it. It's her friend. and she just can't take it anymore. She wants to try to recoup some of her money. And so the license is gonna be on the market, and I just asked him now, he just told me there apparently is a buyer for the license. So we'll be closing. I did speak with Attorney Macy, and I guess they spoke with the police, and they were okay with that they will, be able to deal with it for another 10 days. And this will allow her, I guess, in the next week or so to make enough money to pay the rent for December 1st. Because what she did is, when she took over the establishment, there was a clause put in her lease that she had to give them 60 days notice to terminate the lease, and they would let her out with no liability. So she was able to get the notice to the landlord before November 1st. So January 1st, she's closed anyway. The license the lease is terminated on January 1st. So so all we need to do is to approve the fact that they will close effective November 30th, and that the license will be held by the board until it's sold.
I'll make a motion that we approve the closing of Flair on November 30th, and the Fall River License Board will be holding the license until further notice.
And I'll second that motion.
There's a motion made and seconded. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
So that will, and then what we'll just have to do, we'll have to monitor it to see if they, if it goes on too long, we'll have to have them back like we've had other people back when they're holding the license, right, to sell it. So they were very cooperative, I have to say that. Attorney Frank was really good about it. We got in touch with them. And that's it. Carrie's giving everybody a copy of the meeting schedule for 2016.
It's all tentative, shouldn't be a problem.
It's all tentative, and depending on my situation, for now, we're gonna meet out here, and hopefully we'll be able to go into
We've classed it up a
we'll be able to go into the other room if my walking's okay with the stairs. So, God willing, we'll be in there maybe January. All right, anything else to come before the board?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
And I'll second that motion.
There's a motion to adjourn, seconded. Anyone else here in favor? Anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.